So the school system and the medical system had essentially written you off. They'd given you an excuse.
Yeah.
They give you life's excuse. When stuff gets hard in the classroom, or you look at a problem which you can't do, or a problem in life which you can't solve, or it's going to be challenging, you can just say, no, sorry, it's okay. It says here I've got ADHD. So you have to excuse me for it. So I can just, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they effectively gave you a little card, didn't they? Say, no, sorry,
I can give up.
Yeah.
Again, weirdly, like that just spurred me on. And that's when we speak about me now coaching people or being an instructor within the military, I use that because I tell this story, not too in depth as what we're going, but I tell them everyone in this whole room, everyone that listens to this podcast, everyone that you walk past in town is fighting a battle. Everyone's fighting something.
Welcome. For this episode, I'm delighted to be able to spend some time with a totally extraordinary, awesome guy who's got through some amazing challenges in life and is an example to us all. His name is Willis. He's an army soldier, and I can promise you his story is going to blow you away. So Tris, you got diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 14. What happened?
So I was going through the normal sort of secondary school phase. I was playing football, but that's pretty much all I was doing. I was only really playing football. I would rarely not go to school. And parents, lots of arguments in the house, grew up in quite a busy household, 3 brothers. And I was the youngest, so I was pretty much fighting and fending them off day to day. And then we went through the phase of sort of seeing a doctor and in pretty an uncomfortable environment. And like we've spoke previously, I hope it's not like that now. I got diagnosed in pretty much a room, and it was really, really uncomfortable. People watching me, I felt like people judging me. I was very young, and it made me straight away very, very angry. And then I felt like the world was against me when I was diagnosed. And after that, it sort of spiraled down and down and down for a long time, where my teachers at school were pretty much saying, I'm only good at PE, I'm only good at playing football, that's all I bring to the table. I won't get through the education system, and if I carry on this path, then I'll be in prison before I'm 18 years old.
Right.
And I felt like it was me against them, and it's not, and it wasn't like that, but that's how I felt as a young teenager.
So I guess this is something that you're born with.
Yes, 100%.
Right. So you'd already spent 14 years struggling with it.
Yeah. Where
I guess people weren't understanding you, and therefore you weren't understanding it. Yeah. So that was pretty difficult already as a sort of precursor. And then the school system or your parents or whatever decided it was time to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
And you're in this sterile, unfriendly, clinical kind of setting where somebody is diagnosing you. Not just, okay, Tris, you've got this, but actually you've got this for life. And they give you this sort of crushing forecast of what your life will not be.
Yeah, so
God help us if that's the way we deal with issues like this. How the hell? I mean, firstly, is that a fair summary of what it was like? And secondly, how the hell are you sitting here today and we'll come on to it, do all the stuff you've done and achieved in your life?
So I think that's a great summary, because it was, and this is who I am today, and we'll go into more of it, but I'm very optimistic. I am one of them people that can turn any negative into a positive, but that is because them 2 or 3 years in my life, everything was negative. Like you summarised, every single thing was negative. There was no positive of getting ADHD. And again, we'll go on to it, but there's lots of positives, because learned how to go from pretty much surviving day to day to thriving day to day. And anyone can do that. Any person, any man, woman, ADHD, child, they can not just survive in this world, but they can thrive.
So what did you... So I get from what you've just said that once you'd had the diagnosis, which in itself, I mean, it might open the door to specialist support, but it's not a great thing to just sort of do to somebody and then tell them their life is over. I get from what you said that there was a period where you felt anger, resentment, maybe loss of hope or something. How long did that last? And how did that then turn into you saying, well, bugger it, I'm not going to be put down by this thing?
So the first sort of 6 to 18 months post that, and what that happened, my anger just like took a massive spike. I was not like violent anger, but the anger was me against them. I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Everyone that thinks I'm not good enough, everyone that thinks I'm not strong enough, I'm going to prove them wrong. And at the time, looking back, it probably wasn't the way to deal with it. But what it did do is when I came out the other side, I wanted to attack absolutely everything with everything I've got. So I'm not born with natural intelligence. I did struggle at school, especially with maths and my English. But everything I did from there, after I came out of that sort of, it is me versus them, but I am going to prove them wrong, but I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to keep myself, I'm going to use my strengths. And we always say we need to improve our weaknesses, but I utilize my strengths. I was fit. I was capable. I was strong. So I used that to elevate myself, to show that ADHD wasn't the issue, and I can come out the other side. And some days were tough because I felt I'd be in class or I felt ADHD, I can't do this. Oh, it's because I've got ADHD.
Yeah.
When as soon as I snapped out of that and realised I can use this, I can thrive. I've got extra help. And in the English school system, as everyone knows, the classes are massive classes. Secondary school is hard. There's a lot of peer pressure, and I started using and changing things to make them work for me. So I wasn't just surviving, because that's what I was doing at one point. I was literally just surviving, just going to school, surviving, playing football, which was 1 day a week, where I was top of the pyramid. I was the best player. I was scoring the goals. Everyone was happy around me. But then when it came back to the school, I was again back bottom sets of everything. We can't help Tris. We can't do anything for him.
That's great, isn't it? I mean, so the school system and the medical system had essentially written you off. They'd given you an excuse.
Yeah.
They give you life's excuse. When stuff gets hard in the classroom, or you look at a problem which you can't do, or a problem in life which you can't solve, or it's going to be challenging, you can just say, no, sorry, it's okay. It says here I've got ADHD, so you have to excuse me for it. So I can just, whatever. Yeah. That's what they effectively gave you a little card, didn't they? Say, no, sorry,
I can give up.
Yeah.
Again, weirdly, like that just spurred me on. And that's when we speak about me now coaching people or being an instructor within the military, I use that because I tell this story, not too in depth as what we're going, but I tell them, everyone in this whole room, everyone that listens to this podcast, everyone that you walk past in town is fighting a battle. Everyone's fighting something, and we can use it to thrive. And we'll go into the military side of things, but my first part of my military career, ADHD, fitness, my sporting background, what I'd been through, I was in a situation where I was thriving. I was in a place where I was like, I'm meant to be here.
Yeah. And you finished. So you finished your schooling. So they basically, in a sense, they said you could just basically, stay at home. I mean, you could have said that, right?
Yeah.
It's not worth it. They told me I can't do it. They know I'm just 14 or whatever. But you finished your schooling.
Went through school, I didn't get the perfect grades. But what I did do is I did something that they told me I wouldn't. I finished the education system. I did not get chucked out of school. I didn't go to prison, which is what one of my year 9 reports said.
Lovely.
To my parents.
Written down.
We've still got it, and we still joke and laugh about it over Christmas. Got through the schooling system, got a few good grades. I didn't do well at the maths, but I have now a GCSE in maths. I got that at 26 years old through the military. I got my maths eventually.
Wow.
I didn't get it when you were meant to get it, but I got it.
Yeah.
And I worked hard to get that, and it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Got through the system. We then go sort of through I was playing football at a fairly high level. I didn't make the cut, and looking back, I probably wasn't good enough. But that was my next battle.
To get into professional football.
Yeah. To play professional football. Went all around the country. My parents probably went into an extreme amount of debt, getting me to where I even got to. And it's a very, very hard sort of lifestyle for them. But the next thing was I got told I was way too small to play football. And that was in and around the 16 to 17 mark. So this was my next thing. And I probably, looking back now, being 31 years old, I probably wasn't up. I wasn't as good. I wasn't good enough. However, I gave it my absolute all, and I didn't let that stop me. I'd come through the ADHD at this point. I was happily... I would never... And that's one thing I didn't do. When I did fail something, which I failed lots and lots of things in my life, I didn't go, oh, it's because of ADHD.
Yeah.
And I've never done that.
Yeah.
And this is probably the first time we're actually telling the story, so we can probably inspire someone else that's sitting in my position, or a young teenager that
who's got similar problems. Hope to God they weren't handled by the system in the way you were.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody that said, yeah, but for some reason Tristan is just one of those guys who seems to get through, seems to sort of punch through. I'm not that sort of guy, so it doesn't apply to me. What would you say to that person?
I'd say that things will 100% get better if you put a positive mindset on what you've got. You realise you've got ADHD. You realise, and we have spoke, but what we say to everyone with ADHD is that every single person is completely different with ADHD. Mine is ADHD. I struggle to sit down. I always want to be on the move. I train a lot to keep my sort of mind in check. Not really. I don't train really for aesthetics or before. I train because I need to stay active. I like to walk a lot, but I've also got really bad OCD. And again, we'll laugh about it, but going through military training, my corporals came to my locker and wouldn't touch it because they think it was the best thing they'd ever seen, because I'd spent hours and hours making sure everything was perfect. But not for them. That was for me. That made me happy. So I would say you can use... In this day and age, we hope it's a lot better. We hope the education centre is a lot better, or the education system is a lot better, and the diagnosis sort of platform and the support. But if it's not, then you've got to go and be positive. You've got to be optimistic and know that you can thrive, because I'm thriving daily in this environment.
And what you're saying is that can apply to anybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't have to start to be a special person to do special things. No, you can. And there's thousands of people out there that are doing fantastic things, and what we want to do is inspire the next person, or even if it's one person. And when I started coaching and when I started working with people on confidence building and sport and performance and training, is that if we can help one person or inspire one person to get out of their chair, put their trainers on, if it's running, if it's going for a walk, getting moving, getting outside, we've done our job. Just one person. That's all we want to do. Help one person. Yeah, and actually that one person might go and help 2 people.
Exactly that.
And before you know it, there's 16, 32, 64, 28,
And I suppose that's the message, is we can all do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit older than you, but I can remember my school system couldn't quite work me out.
Yeah.
What I was born with, I'm not actually sure, okay? But it was something, right? And one of the symptoms was I would challenge the teachers.
Right.
So I'd be your age, 14, not 31 now, but when you were 14. And I wouldn't let the teachers get away with anything. I'd say that's wrong. So, sorry, that proof don't work. Like just there, that's it.
Yeah.
Or I'd ask lots of questions. And I get sent to the headmaster.
I can imagine, yeah.
I get sent to the headmaster for asking questions.
Yeah.
And rather than sit down with me and say, there's something about this, we just need to support him or whatever, I don't know. I just got told off for doing it.
Right.
And I've always been curious. So yeah, I get it. It's I guess if you're not in the sort of norm, in the system, then I was going to say maybe they don't care. Maybe they just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. So you have that curiosity, and well, some of the best sporting performers, leaders in the business world they're one of their main things is curiosity, right?
Yeah.
It makes some of the best people in the world, let's be honest. So they don't know how to deal with it.
No.
And they just want you to go along steady, doing what you need to do.
Yeah. And fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something else which I thought was interesting. You said, and I don't know how you arrived at this, and maybe you don't, but you said, I decided not to focus on my weaknesses, but focus on my strengths. I work on the stuff I know I'm good at and make those work for me.
Yeah. So it was definitely like more of an environment thing. I was in and out of football changing rooms, which were, boys that were fairly confident in their own ability. And I was confident in my own ability. So I knew that my weaknesses were, sort of educational, intelligence focused, but my strengths were, I was a strong, passionate, optimistic young kid that would do anything to win. Anything. Every game I wanted to win. If I lost, I'd be coming back, and again, I'd be analysing what could have I done better? What could, I was a left-footed football player, what could I do better? If something went wrong at school, or I let my anger sometimes get the better of me, I would come back and analyse it. And when explaining this to people, and the doc, they said, you got ADHD, you can't do that. You're not doing that. I am doing that. I'm analysing everything I do, and I still do to this day. Even if I win something or I do really well, or we get a coaching athlete that's done really well, I like to still analyse a win, still analyse a loss. I was always analysing what I did and trying to make myself better from a very, very young age. And that's probably from the year, 18 months, let's say, of people saying, you can't do this. You got ADHD, you can't do that. I can. I am doing that. I'm writing it down. All the things we see today, people journaling. I was doing that at 14. I was doing that every day. I come back from school, write my thoughts, sharing it with my mum, saying I didn't act appropriately today, mum. I let this get the better of me.
Yeah.
Let's go for a walk, and we'd go for a walk. We'd talk about it, and that's where I learned that I can use these things. I've got ADHD, but it's not the end of the world.
It's not going to define your life for you.
And then come 17 years old, I said to my mum, I think we're in the kitchen, I said, I don't want to keep taking the medication. Don't think it's doing anything for me. I want to just come off it slowly.
What were you on?
So Ritalin at the time.
Yeah.
And essentially they were saying that I was always too hyperactive. I was too active, and it was to calm me down. I think there's lots of more things now that people that get diagnosed can take. But I said to Mum, I don't want to take this anymore. I'm okay. I can deal with it. And the anger or the short temper was the thing that brought it to light. So if I lost, I'd get angry, but I learned to start again. I learned myself to start controlling that and turning that into turning like a loss into a win in my mind. So I'd be like, right, I'm just about to get angry here. We know what we need to do. Coping mechanisms, I guess they're called. But I was doing that on the move, and then I was like writing it down. I was journaling at 14, 15 years old.
And what other things in life, in those early years, post the diagnosis, kind of conspired against you. You know, you use words like, you know, they said you couldn't do that or you can't do that. What other experiences did you have which you felt were basically saying to you, you were a lesser person because of this, and you need to recognise that as you set your ambitions for life?
I think definitely the education system, because I was in the bottom sets of everything, and like as a 14, 15-year-old teenager, you know that, and I cared about that. I was in the bottom set, I was the bottom of the bottom, but it was like they not told you that every day, but you knew that you're the bottom. We can try and get you a D grade or a C grade at the end of your education, but you're probably not going to. You're probably going to get an E or an F. But we can try, but we've got 33 children in this bottom set, so we don't know. And then if you misbehave, like you said, when you misbehave, it's you straight out the door.
Yeah,
Education stops for that day.
Yeah.
You're going to go and sit outside the headmaster's office or headmistress office, and you're going to wait to be, oh, why did you do that?
Yeah.
I've just missed another hour of my education.
Yeah. My late wife had Parkinson's, which eventually took her life. And partway through it, she decided that she would climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Amazing.
Yeah, and a friend said to her, "You can't do that. You're sick."
It's just,
people probably don't realise it, but
it's like a human reaction, human nature. But
yeah,
and I don't want to go down the line of saying when someone says you can't, let's show them we can, because there was also a lot of people in my life that believed in me. My mum and dad knew I had something that could help me thrive, but we didn't know what it was, and it was my sort of positive attitude that probably strawed me along. And I worked hard. I worked hard as a teenager. I wanted to be the fittest football player.
Yeah.
If I wasn't the best, I was the fittest.
And do you think people can decide to think that way, or do you think we're all just different categories? Some people are positive and some, you know. Can you actually say to yourself, no, I'm going to get hold of this and make it work?
As I've got older, I've definitely thought about environment. So like putting myself in a situation like this, for me 10 years ago would have no way. Like I was even driving in the car thinking, you know, still a little bit, I'm a confident bloke, confident geezer. I'm a fully qualified physical training instructor in the army. Like I'm confident in my own ability, but putting yourself out of your comfort zone, but also the right environment. Like when we've sat down, and I've got 4 or 5 friends that I want them in my life because they bring something to me.
Yeah, energy and positive.
And it definitely is environment.
Yeah.
And I speak about it all the time, gyms, and I work in a gym, but I like going outside the military and training in a different environment because it puts me in a different environment. Sometimes a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I get to talk to people, socialise. I love the military. I love the job. It's given me a tremendous amount of success and will lead me on, I think, to put me in a good place. But also I don't want to be just military. Yeah. I want to be able to do other things, and I want to be around people because I think I can not change someone's mindset, but I can give them enough energy to be like, you can do that. Yeah. You want to do that? You can do that. We can do that.
So I think the environment thing, this is really interesting because if I understand you correctly, what you're saying, Tris, is that, well, you said early on in the conversation, everybody you see walking down the street is facing some sort of challenge of some degree. And what you said, I think, is to, even if you're not one of the very few people in life who's sort of gifted to get through everything, and most of us are not, what we then do with the rest of our life conditions us to approach things with a positive attitude and with resilience. So the things we do, how we keep healthy, the friends we mix with, the people that bring energy into our life, these things are important. We can all decide to do those. Yeah. And they will kick back and help us deal with some of the other things that we then have to confront. Is that?
Yeah, and a lot of things I think, like, and probably why I started my small coaching businesses, we get a lot from helping other people. So I'm helping 10 to 12 people better their life, but it's what they don't know and probably don't realise is they're helping me. Yeah. Because I'm coaching them, I'm giving them tips, tricks, and trying to get the hydration up, get them outside. And one thing that's come from coaching is, and it's like I walk a lot, but I hashtagged it as get outside. So at the end of your day, if you're especially in an office, you're in a busy environment, a corporate world, even if you're a teacher, you're part of the NHS, or you're in a busy environment, you're going through everything. At the end of the day, get outside for 10, 20 minutes. You don't have to go to a beautiful lake or beautiful pond.
No.
That's a benefit, but get outside for 10 minutes, put your phone down and just walk and just breathe.
Yeah.
And what you'll naturally do on them walks is you're going to reflect. You'll either reflect on a day, and there's all that science and the things that are all over the world, but that cognitive load is going to reset itself.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes, that's all I'm asking, just 10 minutes. Go and do it for 10 minutes, and I promise you it will change your day.
Do you know, I just reminded me, a couple of nights ago, I had a corporate dinner, and I was around the table with, 20 people or so. The guy sitting next to me, he was chief operating officer for a huge multinational company. And we were talking about fitness and how difficult it is to find the time to do it and everything. I said, tell me about your day. And he said, we have long meetings, like 3 or 4 hours, we're sitting around, so there's no time to get up. And I said, you're effectively the chair of these meetings. He goes, yeah. And I said, so you're sitting down for 3 to 4 hours? Yeah. So why don't you just every 45 minutes or an hour, get everybody up for 5 minutes? I mean, okay, it might sound a bit like you're the schoolmaster, right?
Yeah.
Telling people what to do, but it seems like it'd be quite useful, wouldn't it, to do that? And
just to reset. We do it in the military.
It wasn't in the system at all.
Yeah.
This is a global business, very successful business, that you'd have thought has got all the help possible to make health and well-being a key part of their employment, and they're all going to sit there for 3 to 4 hours.
We do that a lot in the military. If we have long meetings in the afternoons, we'll get everyone up. I've also seen a concept where get that meeting outside.
Yeah. I
know we need our computers, and I know, especially a business like that, but let's do a meeting once a week outside. Let's go and chat outside. Let's go for a walk. And I think that's what I want to do in the future. I want to help businesses, teams become more effective, but not by, and it's a weird concept because I might not get paid for it, but not by making them more an efficient business to make more money, but I can make your company or your team more effective by doing things like that. 20 minutes every day, you're going to get out your office, you're going to walk around the block, things like that. Because that person might work 8 out of 10 times, but that person is going to be more effective when he or she sits back down. Then I'm going to make you more money.
Because
it's a more productive, efficient employee. But it's a weird concept.
I love it.
And
I love it.
I write all these weird and wonderful things down. I speak to my partner, and you're crazy. And I'm like, there we go. That's me. That's who I am.
I just swap watches.
Yeah.
And every, I don't know what the frequency is, half an hour, tells me to get up.
Get up, stand up. Yeah.
Yeah. Not for this one, but I think in future, there's another topic which would be worth getting into, which is, and I think there is a song that says, we fall down, then we get up again.
Yeah.
It's a great disco song, I think. Right. You need it kind of at the end of the evening after a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
But you said, when I lose, I don't wallow in it. And you said, I think I've lost, a number of times.
Yeah.
I think about it, work out what happened, what I can learn, and get up and have another go.
Yeah. So I've when I first got the ADHD and I was angry and the world was against me, and I reacted with anger, and that made people around me, like, they were disappointed in me. They were, and my dad, and I get I've got a young 8-year-old now, daughter Ivy, and my parenting skills come from my dad. My dad was very calm. Everything he dealt with, he dealt with a calm attitude. And he was a managing director of a fairly successful business back in the day. And he told me he used to have to deal with people, lots and lots of people daily, and problem solving daily. He said the best way we did it is by staying calm. When we got a problem came in, we didn't be like, oh my God, that's the end of the world. And I started doing that And it's probably thanks to him because of his calm nature of how he dealt with me when I was coming off the pitch, or I was coming back from school angry and I wanted to fight the world and punch walls and really bad behaviour that wasn't good. And I somewhat just learned, and it definitely was from him and my environment. I learned, if you feel like that, you need to take yourself away, but you're not going to get Tristan losing it and punching a wall, and the only thing you're going to get is a broken hand and a 6-hour wait in A&E. You're not. But they're actually thinking, I've lost. I've had a bad game. I've had a bad day at school. I failed. And in the military, what people I don't think tell the story about the military is it's constant assessments. So as you go through your military training, or as you go through the military rank structure, to get to the next structure, it's not just about your performance. It's about, you've got to go on a course. You've got to hit a certain criteria. You've got to be a certain fitness requirement. You've got to hit a certain score. And as I went through it, I thrived through training. I did well. I was fit. I was capable. I was positive. But when I failed things in the military, it wasn't like when I failed things at school. It was like a completely different person. It's like, right, I failed that. Why have I failed that? I didn't do enough prep. I didn't do enough map reading theory. The fitness was always okay, but actually I could have done better on that fitness to up my score, to give me a better chance. And I was always analysing myself. I wasn't blaming other people. I wasn't saying, it was their fault. It was the instructors didn't like me. That's the sort of things I was saying when I was at school. But when I got to the military, I was putting it on myself, but not in a negative way. I was saying, Trish, you can do this. You can pass. You're capable, but you just need to go things. You need to navigate it a different way. You need to make it work for you and use your strengths and a lot of things that came out, because we go through quite a big reporting structure in the military, and my military reports compared to my school reports are like it's like two different contrasting people. An angry kid that's going to go to prison to a guy that's a natural born leader that's thriving and that can turn a group of people and motivate individuals to do and want better. And so that makes me proud of myself, because them reports are where I am now and them reports where I was. So you can do it. There's a transition period there that we could probably go into another complete podcast, but it was on me, and it was my environment, it was my people, and I used my strengths, but also everyone I met that I thought, that's amazing, I pocketed. I said, that's my dad, calm, always dealt with things calm, even if we were kids and we were doing things we shouldn't have been doing, he was always calm.
Well, let's hope that people that watch this and say, whatever their situation or whatever tag has been labelled on them, whatever disability they've been told they've got, can look at this and say, do you know what, if Tristan can do it, I can actually do it.
Yeah.
I also hope maybe the teachers at school and whoever it was in the medical profession who gave you the diagnosis and the sort of prophecy of what life would be like might just think, actually, do you know what, maybe there's a different way of doing that.
Yeah. And we do hope it's, we do hope it's much different now. But it's my story, and we're telling my story to if someone's in my position. Yeah.
It's not that long ago, actually. 31, 14. Yeah. No, it's not that long ago.
But we hope it's changed. We hope it's got better. Yeah. Because it was an uncomfortable environment. And I think in this day and age, and with my daughter growing up, there's a lot of pressure in the world.
Yeah. Cost it's complicated, isn't it, world at the moment?
There's a lot of pressure, so I want to put that onto my door as well. Not just people and my coaching athletes and everyone else that listens to this, but I want to put it on my door that it'll be all right. Yeah. Work hard. Yeah. Do something you're passionate about and you enjoy, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Just tell us about your sister.
So sister Amber, she's been in our family for coming up like 15 years. My parents adopted her, and she had a really rough upbringing. And again, at some part in her life, she got diagnosed with a neurofunctional disorder, which is essentially a disorder which she's very, very capable. She's completely different to me, as in she's ultra intelligent, completely amazing at all the things I'm not. But the disorder or the disability means that she can't do everything she wants to do. And this year she's 18 and she's actually going to college, starting college this year, which is amazing. But the pressure is going to be tremendous for her. It's not the education side of things. It's completely opposite, really, to me. The education she'll be fine with. It's the social aspect. It's being with people and potentially things that if something goes wrong or she gets a scenario where something happens and her brain doesn't like the environment, she has a sort of a negative effect on. And there's a few things that can happen. Her body and her joints can lock up. She can essentially start harming herself. And she's had a pretty rough upbringing. But very intelligent. She loves animals. She loves to get outside. And on November the 3rd this year, we will be doing a charity event for Parenting Mental Health, which is a charity that has helped my mum, dad and my sister get through a tremendously tough time. They've supported and do support thousands of children that are going through mental health. And if we go back again, that's probably something that was never there when I was a kid.
In terms of understanding of the condition,
So we are going the right way. And Parenting Mental Health's aim is to essentially volunteer and help millions of families that children are struggling.
So the charity is called
Parenting Mental Health.
Okay, and the event's on the 3rd of November.
3rd of November.
And you're going to be doing something, no doubt, physical.
So, and I tell a story, and the story is that it's the only way I know how to help my sister, by doing something like this. I feel utterly hopeless sometimes when I'm with her because I don't know about the disease. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to, but I get extremely, let's say, upset when I'm in the environment because you just feel hopeless. It's like I can't do anything. So reaching out to Parenting Mental Health and saying I want to do something to give back because what you're doing, what you've done for my family, but also, and my sister's 18, she understands what we're doing. But I explained this to her the other day that I don't know how else to help you. This is the only way I feel I can do something or inspire someone else to. Another hashtag we used is talk out loud. Do podcasts, do talk on my story on my Instagram. Just talk out loud about stuff that's going on. And I am doing 2 miles of burpee broad jumps, which essentially is me getting down on the floor, and my chest and my hips are going to touch the floor. I'm then going to pretty much stand back up, and then I'm going to do a double-footed takeoff jump. And then I'm going to do that for 2 miles. So,
and how many will you get done in 2 miles?
So it can be from anywhere, obviously, because this is all about the distance that I jump after I've done the burpee. But as the body and mind fatigues, them jumps are going to be pretty woeful, probably pretty pathetic looking at the end of it. But from anywhere from sort of 5,000 to 10,000 burpee broad jumps.
That is completely insane. If I go into a sort of fitness routine where you get half an hour and you get a leader and you got 10 of us, they take you through 10 different things. Burpees are part of it. And you have to do 10. Right, and after 10 you're knackered.
So it was one of them things that it's absolutely utterly insane. But again, it goes with everything. My ethos, it's getting up off the floor and moving forward. Everything about it. And when we sat down and we created it, we were like, everything we talk about, everything we've talked about in here, life is generally like getting up off the floor when you've been put down.
I love it.
And just moving forward.
I love it.
And when I'm 5.5 hours in, and hopefully you guys will probably be there watching me, when I'm 5.5 hours in, I am literally going to be dragging myself off the floor and just trying to move forward, just trying to keep moving.
So we'll put it in the text as well. So it's 3rd of November.
3rd of November. The location is to be confirmed, but we can get that out on both of the social medias when it's closer to the time.
And if people want to donate or contribute in some way,
we'll get the Just Giving link in the text as well. And
brilliant.
We'll make it nice and easy for people.
And you're going to break any records or what?
So the aim is to break 2 records. The first record being the fastest mile of burpee broad jumps, and then the second world record will be the longest continuous burpee broad jump that anyone's ever attempted.
Yeah, brilliant. Tris, you're an amazing guy. This is an unbelievable story, and it's going to get better by the sound of it. Which is fantastic. So thanks so much. We're going to somehow try and support the event in what we're doing. We'll work with you afterwards on that. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. And it's been amazing to tell my story. So thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you want to hear more, please do follow us. Hit the bell icon so you're notified of other podcasts when they come out, and subscribe to our channel. And I look forward to welcoming you.